You ever gotta like do something and then all of a sudden the need to shit just hits you?
Yes.
Yes.
But then you're like, well, I like, there's people waiting on me, so I don't have time to like, properly do this shit that I'm having to do right now.
Yes.
So you just try to squeeze it out,
Yes.
But then it's like you're kind of uncomfortable because the job's not done.
Yeah.
Where are you streaming this to?
The internet.
Uh-huh.
To YouTube.
You
The
sure about that?
interwebs.
Now you are. Now you are. Jesus.
Like,
fucking YouTube.
Unless the internet isn't a thing today. I don't know. I was on it earlier. It seemed like it was working then.
And it just took it a while to actually come up on my end. I'm like, what the fuck?
Damn,
There's always a lag.
So how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show, Late Night with E Honda, the greatest show on all of the internet, where we just sit around and bullshit and talk about whatever. I do have a number of stories on the Twitter pulled up already, ready to go, loaded in the chamber, ready to fire, so we can go through those a little bit tonight. Before we do that, let's say hello to the panel. We are joined by Never Enough Ammo, if you've ever heard of him.
Nobody has. It's okay.
Yeah, he's a obscure YouTuber who? Yeah, that's what that's why we got to introduce him, because no one knows who the fuck he is.
Yep.
He's, some dude. Just some dude. That's what you should change your name to. Just some dude.
Some dude. Just some dude.
Somewhere.
And we have the king of Sir Strummin. Is that how you say that?
Yes, Sir Strummin.
Yeah,
so.
The nastiest fish in the world. What else have you eaten in your time that was like no one else? You eat like bugs and shit too or something? I forget what you were saying the other day.
Yeah, I've eaten grasshoppers, worms.
One time, a kid dared me to take a bite of dog food, like one of those like little, pebbles of dog food.
Mm-hmm.
And I crunched it in my mouth and got the taste of the dog food and threw up. So we're not all iron stomachs like you, sir. Also, we have a gun control taco.
Hey, I am for all gun control for tacos.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The
Tacos should not have guns.
Nope, not at all.
Because they're out of control.
Because they're Mexican.
Yeah.
Exactly. What are they though? Like, are they actually Mexican or are they like Spanish?
Well, have you ever seen a Norwegian taco?
Yes.
Does it have Sir Straumen in it?
Probably. I mean, you know what? I think for a gay frog chat one time, we have to find out the conspiracy theory behind who made the taco. The first person to make tacos.
The bazooka. I don't know if I would like admit to that, especially online. I don't know. Seems a bridge too far. You crossed the Rubicon.
The Poopacon.
The poop.
Damn.
Daniel dropped in $2. Thank you, good Sir Daniel. Sir Daniel, would you put King Ranch decals on your vehicle?
Yes,
No.
I am from Texas. I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
Matt is the closest. Well, I guess Taco, you're probably as close to them as anybody, huh?
Yeah, I think me and Taco are about the same distance away from King Ranch.
But also, King Ranch is what,
sides.
like 50,000 acres? Some
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's the largest ranch in the United States.
Yeah, it's fucking huge.
Yeah, where does it start and stop? I don't remember.
What?
I wonder if it's the largest ranch in the world or just America.
I feel like there's got to be a bigger one. Like it's probably in the Middle East. Some rich motherfucker's got like the world's largest ranch or something.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
He was like, fuck those Texans.
The
They
King
set them
Ranch.
by people for failure.
But it's like llamas instead of cattle.
Yeah, he's just got like.
Yeah.
I was gonna say camels, but never mind.
No, they fuck them. So
They also take the camel poop, and that's what they use for firewood.
Yeah.
camel dung.
Yeah, because
It's actually, I mean, that's actually a survival tip. You can actually, there's a lot of dung you can use because it is flammable.
Well, it's
Dry it
dried out.
out.
It comes out of the camel's butt too.
Yeah. They take showers in camel piss too. We saw that the other day.
Oh, that was a cow.
Well, whatever, same fucking thing.
Wait,
I guess
what?
that they do.
What the
They
fuck
do
were
with
y'all
camels
watching?
too.
Dude, this guy took a huge ass shower in cow piss, like directly from the tap. He was like,
all right. Well,
Jesus, can you rub it any harder? Like, God damn, man.
Do you have to
That's
pay
bad.
for that? Do you have to pay for that show? There you go.
I've heard of a golden shower, but this is ridiculous. Did you guys hear that John McAfee may have faked his own death?
I mean, no.
According to his ex-girlfriend, he's alive and well. And I forget where she said he was living, like Texas or something like that, or like Mexico, somewhere down south.
There's a fucking documentary thing about him on Netflix just popped up like a day or two ago that I was going to watch. I haven't watched it yet. It's the McAfee documentary, which, by the way, is not McAfee. Or sorry, it's Mac. What did he say? He calls it McAfee, right?
Yeah, it's McAfee.
But it's actually spelled McAfee. So I don't know why he calls himself McAfee. Because one is Scottish and one is a Scottish spelling and one is it Irish?
Irish.
If it's M-A-C, it's Irish, or it's Scottish, and you say McAfee. If it's M-C, it's McAfee.
Yep.
So he says his own fucking name wrong. Because he's, I don't know, rich, I guess. He can do that. So
You're a billionaire. You can say your name however.
Yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Pavio7 says, dropped in $5, thank you, and says, Radical firearms or Diamondback AR-15? Which do you guys think is better?
Radical.
Both are about 650 beans.
Radical.
I would go with Radical, but for 650, I would go with Palmetto.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can get an upgraded Palmetto for that same price. It's not the basic bitch, you know? Because the basic bitch is what, like 400 beans?
Ish,
Yep.
So you got
and even the basic bitch at 4 to 5, whatever you end up spending, depending on which upper and lower you want to go with, is better than any Radical or Diamondback.
Yes. And if you catch it on deals, you can get the better version, like the MOE stocks and stuff like that, for just about the same price.
I've never screwed around with either of those as far as AR-15s go. I have shot a DB9 that fell apart as I was shooting it. So I was not very inspired by the build quality of Diamondback.
I have shot 2 Diamondback 15s and at least 3 or 4 Radical builds, either a complete Radical firearm or maybe it was just the upper, stuff like that. But
now, as far as if you get a lower,
nothing about them that impressed me, and it certainly wasn't better than a PSA.
If you were going to get a lower from either of those companies and you could get a deal on them, I say why not, though, honestly.
Oh, yeah, for a lower, yeah, why not?
I got my Diamondback for like 400, 450. It was for 450, I would do it. Not for 650.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they come with like little upgrades and stuff like, oh, yeah, it's our DB-15, but it's got the cool trigger, or hey, we're going to throw in some sights or a red dot or something for you. And those are little add-ons that if you were going to buy a red dot or an upgraded trigger is kind of worth it. But if you weren't, I mean, I guess a nice trigger is nice to have and all that. But if you were going to run like a different red dot or a scope or something and you paid extra for an upper or for a rifle that comes with a red dot, it's kind of wasting your money. Not kind of. It is wasting your money. Okay, here we go. Abercrombie and Fitch. This is the new advertisement 5 days ago. This is the chick that they're putting on their cover. She's got front ass. Look at this. She's got a clear demarcation line where her zipper goes.
Well, they're trying to cater to the mass majority of this country.
Or she's pregnant.
That's not pregnancy. That's
that's booty do.
That's fupa.
That's booty do. Her belly sticks up more than her booty do.
I mean, can we get a shot of the booty? Can we at least, find this out? No,
I'm saying, like, look, this is from when I was in high school. This is like 1990s, right?
Yeah.
Got skinny dudes and a hot chick running on the beach, or it's not the beach, but you know what I mean? Come on. It's what sex sells, right? You're like, oh, I want to look like that guy with his bowl cut hair from the 90s. But no, you want to look like this? Fuck me, dude. That's fucking nuts.
Oh, she will.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's how you die of like snoo.
You won't be able to get away.
I think you can get away from her. I think if
Nah.
you just juked her, there's nothing she could do. She's just
Nah. No, because first of all, she's going to sneak up on you.
well,
You're not going to see it coming, and before you know it, she's just on top of you riding.
I don't
and then
know.
you're-
I don't see it coming though. Honestly,
Have you?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Oh yeah.
don't take it that way. The other way of coming. All right, have you guys seen this? Frolicking in the rain is now racist.
Wait,
What?
what?
Seriously?
Oh, that's a Drew Barrymore.
You and I both know that you are capable of enjoying the rain and frolicking freely without filming it and then posting it to TikTok. Now, you've just co-signed, okay? You just co-signed.
Why do they always do this thing when they're like being a fucking super cunt and telling people things that they shouldn't? They don't have any right to tell anybody. They get this little, like weird little fucking smirky smile on their face. Fucking Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib do that shit too when they're talking.
Yeah, you already said it. It's called being a super cunt.
I just don't understand. I've never in my life been like, fuck you and you're a stupid piece of shit, and then smile in the middle of it, and then be like, oh, and Jesus doesn't love you, and
I would like to think it is because they do not have a song named after them.
like Diallo.
They do.
Drew Barrymore has a song named after them.
Oh,
No, well, she has a song named after her too. It's called "You're a Bitch."
you're a lover. You're a child. Oh wait, is that not the right song?
That is the right song.
I like a Ohio Patriots comment: when everything's racist, nothing is.
Yeah, I mean it's making the word lose all meaning. Where like it used to be if someone called you a racist, it was like audible gasp, like what did he do? And now it's just like, okay, yeah, what did he do? You know,
I usually just roll with it. Yeah, I'm a huge racist. You're right. That's true. Yep.
Racist.
I just hate
You know-
everybody
you know
that's
what?
not white. It's true.
Matt,
Just go
you
with
take it up the butt like nobody else does.
That's true. I do. But I'm also homophobic as well, so it's a weird conundrum that I constantly live in. So
Wait, okay, so hold on. Just hear me out. All right, there are black people who don't like black people, right?
yes,
Yep.
there are.
Are there gay people who don't like gay people?
Yes, there
Yeah,
are. I
there
know
are.
some. I know a couple. I know a couple who very, very liberally love to use the F word to describe anybody.
So, what is that called then? That's not racism. That's
Well, it's not. It's not anything. It's
Self-hating Jews, you know.
it's not even self-hating. It's like I don't like. So okay. So one guy that I know and known for a very long time, his basic thing was that it was like the the flamboyant clothes, the lisp, all that shit, right? Like he fucking hated that. He was like, it's the gayest thing ever, and he would call them all fucking fags. And he's like, it's stupid. He's like, it's just this weird thing that's a lot of gay people do. He like, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. He's like, I've known a lot of people who growing up became gay, and they were perfectly normal until they outed themselves as gay, and then all of a sudden they're like this. He's like, it's a fucking act. He's like, it's the gay voice. It's stupid, and those people are like, he fucking hated it. He fucking hated it. And
Matt,
this was one of those dudes that you wouldn't like. You could know this dude for years, and unless he told you, you would never know he was gay.
It's called the gay accent.
And he was like a hardcore fucking like bottom.
Yeesh.
I say was. He still is, I assume. But he hated it when people acted gay.
My old roommate, I had a gay roommate. He was the same way. Like, fucking gay as hell, but you would never know it just by talking to him.
Yeah.
You know? Like, because he didn't talk like that. And if, like, someone was flamboyant, like, he was just, like, very annoyed with them. Like, I wouldn't say he hated them, but he was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's listen to why Frolicking in the Rain is racist. So far, it's because you're perfectly capable of frolicking in the rain, but not recording it and posting it to TikTok.
Scott Peterson says it pretty good right there in his comment. Or Patterson, I mean. Scott Patterson.
I think they smile like that because they are enjoying that they can jab
the con job.
Oh.
That they are presenting.
You need glasses, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
You see how I said can jab, though, from con job, right?
What?
Yeah, because you fucking need glasses.
The O looks like an A to me.
Yeah.
And the O looks like... Yeah.
You're 40, except that you need glasses.
I think it's also the fact that they want to be the next popular person for bringing up something that's outlandishly ridiculous on being racist or, just trying to get their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, I think what it really comes down to is they actually believe this shit and they think that they're doing the right thing, and doing the right thing gives you a fucking smile, right? Like, I think they generally think that Honda likes gay frogs up the butt, but it is.
Okay, here's another example. I forget the guy's name. He was like FBI or CIA or something like that, testifying in front of Congress about Trump, Russia, or I forget what it was. And like they were asking him questions and he's just dodging and dodging and dodging. And then he gets this little point where he gets this like smirk on his face and he goes like, fuck you, dude. I can't even make the face. My face doesn't do that. Whatever. All right, let's listen to why you're racist if you like rain.
At least 3 million, 8.5 letter in front and back. People who just go out of their way to disrespect and dismiss the boundaries that Black creators have set. And now you're one of those people. So
wait, what boundaries that Black?
Okay. So I know what she's playing off of because I remember we talked about this like a month ago on one of the shows. I don't remember which one. And there is this, and it was pushed throughout August. There was this push on social media that throughout August, white people should quote unquote stand down on social media to make room for Black and BIPOC creators so that their messages could get out without interference on the internet from a bunch of other people. So when the idea was so that when you went to the internet to look at stuff on social media, all you would see is Black and BIPOC people presenting content.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big push throughout August. And so that's what she's playing off of is now somehow if you put shit out and you're fucking white, then what you're doing is every time somebody watches your shit, that's one less thing that they're watching that's from someone who's Black or a person of color or whatever.
Oh, I've been hearing the same thing, except it's been pushed out to proportion to the point where, like, if you're white passing, like, like for instance, I look a little bit whiter than normal Mexican, so they'll be like looking at
kids.
so they'll be like, I'm white passing for Mexican. I'm like, what do you mean white passing? It means you're not Mexican based on your skin tone. What does that got my skin tone to do with anything? My parents come from Mexico and everything. Doesn't matter. You're not Mexican. You have to be tan. So you're white passing. So pretty much they're putting people that are Black that look white and they're considered white. Asians that look white, they're considered white. They're not. They're white passing. That's what I've noticed about what you just mentioned, Matt, because that's another thing that they're pushing too.
I do get tired of the cultural appropriation shit that they always get mad at people for. Like there was this guy who was on the Cooking Channel who ran like a Mexican fine dining restaurant in Chicago, but he's a white guy, and he basically got canceled off of his TV show because everyone, like, at a point it was fine, no one cared, and then at another point, like, the fucking bullshit started, and then people started piling on, and then the letters and angry shit started, and he got canceled. So it's like, okay, let's take that rule to its extreme. You cannot use anything that was not invented by the race that you come from. That means white people are the only ones who get electricity. I mean, or Asians, I guess they get.
Well, technically, it would just be you and me because wasn't electricity like the way we use electricity today? Wasn't it created by people who are of Slovakian descent.
I don't know.
I
Was
thought
it?
so. I thought it was. I may be wrong.
I thought it was by a black dude. I don't remember.
I was thinking the dude who flew the kite, Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, but he stole that idea from somebody. I forgot who the fuck that was.
He
Or
stole it
Tesla,
from
Nikola
Nikola Tesla. Who wasn't born yet, but he knew.
Totally. Good call. Yeah,
Tesla
man.
actually was Slovakian,
Well,
wasn't he? He was Eastern European.
I think so.
I forget what
So
part.
here's the thing, right? Like this shit isn't new, right? Like my parents had to deal with this shit too, right? Like, oh, you're not from Mexico, you're not Mexican. It's just now that it's on the internet, we think it's new, but that portion of, oh hey, you're passing, right? Or you're white, and so you shouldn't do that. That's not brand new. Like that shit's been out there.
That's probably why they reference Chicanos, right? I'm assuming that you're not Mexican no more. You're a Chicano, or was another? It's Chicanos and there's something else. That Mexicans like have not a slur, but it degrades anyone who is the first generation.
Well, I would just like to point out that for a lot of the people that I know, because of the part of Texas I live in, all of whom are Hispanic, if you call any of them fucking Mexican, they're going to get pissed the fuck off.
Very much so.
I'm telling you. I mean, and fucking Taco knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
They don't want to be fucking called
Fucking
Mexican.
Mexican.
They're like, I was born in
Or
Texas,
fucking
motherfucker. You call me Texan, you call me American, you don't call me fucking Mexican.
If you don't know them, if you know them and you're friends with them and you know what bothers them, then you call them Mexican all day.
Yeah, I do it to my wife all the time.
Definitely something you do.
And you go to Texas.
Texas is where it's at.
Shit,
All right, that was 2 breaks to get through this. Let's see if we can get through the whole thing or if we have to take another one before it's ridiculous. I bet we're going to have to take another one.
I guess my question would be, why? Why is it so important to all of you to treat us like we don't matter?
Okay, we made it through. I don't see how frolicking in the rain, honestly, like honest truth, I don't see how posting this to your social media page, frolicking in the rain, could be disrespectful to anybody under any kind of circumstance. I just don't see how.
No, just fucking making something out of nothing just to fucking open your dumbass mouth and whine.
I mean, I guess if like your mom died and she was getting cremated, and then there was the cloud of smoke from the cremation that went up into a cloud, and someone knew it, and then the rain came out of the cloud, and they were like joyously dancing in the rain. But that's like far-fetched, dude. Like that's like she's not doing that shit. I don't know. That's how the zombies got created in that one movie.
By frolicking in the rain? What?
No, there was the zombie who got exposed to the chemicals, and then he like got chopped up into pieces, and they put him inside of the fucking cremator, and then the smoke went into the air, and then the rain went down, and then all the zombies came out of the ground. It was the 80s. Night of the Living Dead? I forget which one.
Probably. Return of the Living Dead.
Which one was that, Matt? Are you here? You're not here.
What? I'm here. What?
The Living Dead one that we were the zombie movie that we were talking about from the 80s earlier.
Damien Chris got it in the chat.
Return of the Living Dead.
Return of the Living Dead. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they got Return of the Living Dead. Oh, Tara dropped in $5 and said, Tesla was Serbian. Pilsner beer is from Pilsner, Czech Republic. Stop drinking beer. You're appropriating my culture.
That's true.
It's true.
Mine too, I guess. I'll be in yours.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to tequila, y'all.
Mezcal, right?
All right.
I think we technically get vodka too, right? I think they've been drinking it there long enough.
I mean, it's Eastern European, so
yeah,
those countries have shifted borders so many goddamn times. So I guess we can claim all that general area.
But then I've also got some English in me too, so that means I can drink gin.
Yeah, you do.
So I have German, Mexican, Indian.
Honda, you have a penis in you.
Oh, he does.
Thanks for seeing my son walk behind me and then yelling that. Very adult of you, and like you're a really good friend. You know.
Yes. I love
What?
you, Honda.
Okay, okay, hold on. You don't stream with fucking headsets? What is wrong with you?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
he never does.
I like to go like this and then go like that, and not be like, "Oh, I'm pulling things up."
Shit, there's wireless headsets.
You're a wireless headset.
That made no sense whatsoever.
No.
Why it's a great insult because no one. Are you gonna get angry about that? I mean,
Are you making fun of a fucking Mexican on your white channel? What is wrong with you, sir?
Yeah, that's
You're appropriating his culture.
I think my channel has. Oh, I guess we are outnumbering the Mexicans because we have 2 Mexicans and 3 white dudes. So.
And plus, you're outnumbered by Texans tonight, so there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. There's 3 Texans here.
Yeah.
Jesus
4.
Christ.
Zorro's from Texas.
Okay.
Oh no, he's Cali. Never mind.
No, Callie. Can I get my Texas card, please?
Fuck no.
Well, you got to
Fuck
come to
you.
Texas first.
Fuck California.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like California. Can I go to Texas?
Well,
Yes,
come,
you
come
can.
over. I mean,
Come on.
Matt has a yard you can mow, and
I'm an educated Mexican, okay?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
so
man.
he has an edger. That's what
Oh,
I just
fuck.
heard.
Okay, I can teach, all right?
Dude, I love California. I just don't like the fucking laws and
Politics,
most
yeah.
of the people.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm kind of in the same boat with you.
Like, there's a good amount of people in California that are pretty fucking cool, though, to be honest.
Mhm. There's
But
more in the suburbs in the farm country lands.
Yeah, or if you go, like, my uncle lives, I forget the name of the town, but it's like near the Redwood Forest area.
Oh,
There's,
okay.
like, all kinds of, like, you know, good old boys up there and pick up trucks with shotguns and shit.
Oh, yeah. Similar. It's kind of like similar down here. Everyone has a John Deere, off-roading freaking thing with the shotgun rack.
So I saw this and I thought this was cool. $20. This is a gift from me to you. I am permitted by tax code to make income tax-free gift transfers to family, friends, and others as long as they do not exceed $14,000 per year. Because this is a gift, it's not a tip. You do not need to report it as income on your tax return.
I mean, I would think so, right? Like as long as you have a receipt, and that's a receipt.
For that $20.
Yeah.
If you got enough of those in a year, though, and it's like, okay, I've made like nothing in tips, but I bought a car and I did this and I did that. I wonder at what point, like the IRS or whoever would come after you.
I mean, as long as it doesn't exceed 14,000 per year.
But that's a pretty big amount. That's a chunk of change, right? If you just like had 14 grand a year gifted to you from whoever, anonymous person, right?
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
It would be nice, first of all, yes, A.
Hell yeah.
But B, like, I think that would start showing up on like their end because they do these things called suspicious activities reports, which are filed by the bank. I learned this in that meeting, by the way. They're filed by the bank to the FBI and to the IRS, right? And the IRS gets these suspicious activity reports. 99% of their total audits are triggered by having these suspicious activity reports, and that's like large cash deposits, large transfers of cash. I don't know. There was like a few certain things you can look it up, but they're called SARs, financial SARs. You got
So, like,
SARs.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably ways around that by like putting it in a digital wallet and shit like that, but who knows?
Yeah, and that's another one, is like crypto transfers. And like I was talking to one of the dudes there that night. Okay, so I did a party the other day to give some context to what I'm talking about here at my work. And there were 5 speakers for this event, and they were the Attorney General of Colorado, the head of the Colorado Bureau of Investigations, there was a special agent from the FBI, there was a special agent from the IRS, and there was a Secret Service dude on the stage. And they were like talking and answering questions. And the people asking the questions were like head of this bank's financial theft department. And, you know, like, and they were like, everybody had their name tag. It was like Wells Fargo, you know, like name a bank. They all had fucking people there for this thing. It was weird, dude. It was fucking weird.
Would have been a shame if, you know, the kitchen had caught fire and the doors had been locked.
You know,
Like, darn it!
I'm beginning to think that this chat is just a fucking setup now. You're like, oh, you suspiciously had a meeting with like FBI people there, Yonda? Really?
Yeah, I was
Just,
making sure that the Schaefers were lit, and the you know what I mean. Like that wasn't my job. But the funny thing was, there was like 4 other waiters on this job. No one else gave a fuck what the meeting was about. They were all just like, I'm gonna go hang out in the hallway, and I'm like, I'm gonna sit right here and listen to these people.
Now they have your name, our names. The fuck.
But anyway, I was talking to this guy who was a anti-counter, something like that, counter-terrorist specialist, right? Working for the FBI and working specifically out of Colorado. And I was like, dude, what kind of shit's going on in Colorado? And he'd be like, dude, you'd be surprised. I'm like, what do you mean? And I guess what's going on, according to the anti-terrorist specialist FBI agent at this meeting, was that terrorist countries, whoever they are, groups, have people who are over here living in the United States that they have contact with, that they have whatever thing holding over them so that they can control them potentially, or they're just buying them, so they're paying them so that they get them to do what they want, right? And so their kids, the ones living here have kids go to school. So they're in the junior high, they're in the high school, they're getting to know the people in the school, looking for the vulnerable kids that they can like funnel towards the dad who can hand him a little cash and give him a little grooming towards something fucking terroristic. So they've been looking at white kids who are working for Al-Qaeda.
Jesus.
In Colorado, funded by Al-Qaeda, money coming overseas from there to here. And like, that's how they're tracking it, is like the wire transfers and like following the money.
Yeah, sounds about right. We probably do the exact same thing over there.
Well, I'm sure. I think we're a little bit more open about it, but yeah. We're doing the same thing.
Honda was only there so he can try to get a new job before she gets too bad, so he can be on the side of the Alphabet Boys.
Mm-hmm.
That we know he's already part of.
I don't know. It was interesting, dude. And it was funny to me how the average person, just like the other waiters on the job, who were like 20-somethings, you know, just like living in their own world, could not give a fuck what the meeting was about. Did not give a fuck that it was like FBI, not ATF, IRS, like all of these different alphabet agency people are up there answering questions. And who's the person you just got a drink for? Oh, he's like the head of the Colorado division for Wells Fargo. Like he's like the regional fucking person, you know, not CEO, but like one step below it. Like shit, that guy's rich as fuck, and he tipped me 70 cents. Like, what
the fuck? That's how he stayed rich.
Anyway, I saw this. I thought this was funny.
That is pretty cool.
So we've got New York City. There's an animal rights activist rally going on, and this guy comes from off of the streets eating a shish kebab. Watch this shit. It's funny.
You're disgusting. What do you think you are? You're just a coward. You're a fucking coward. You're smart as shit. You're embarrassing me. What am I gonna do? Nothing. You're gonna die on your own without fucking.
What? Huh? It feels fucking good. You and your small dick and your pussy wet.
The fuck?
And it feels good. You hold the blood on your dick.
Troll level expert.
He just licked the shit.
We need more of that. Like, you got these crazy ass people screaming at people in the street about you shouldn't have any fucking right to tell anybody what they can and can't do. You know, mean, as long as they're not hurting anybody or tricking people or like fucking kids or something.
I mean,
You want to eat fucking a steak on a stick in the middle of the fucking street, you can eat fucking steak on a stick. No one should be able to stop you.
yeah, but I'm all for both sides here, right? Like, because we do need this freedom of language type shit. Like, it's cool. I didn't see nothing wrong with either side here. They have their beliefs. They have their beliefs. This dude wanted to challenge their beliefs. It's all good.
Well, he did it non-violently. He didn't do it by like getting in anyone's face and calling anyone any names, even though they were doing it to him.
But I mean, he did lick the stick like he was used to
it. What do you mean? I just thought it was great, dude. It was good. Good job, guy. Whoever you are. Andrew Heckler says this chat needs more lesbians. The token lesbian should be back tomorrow night for the Gay Frog chat. She's off on Sundays, and she said she'd like to be there whenever she can, anyway. So she might be a regular Gay Frog guest. That'd be kind of cool.
Sunday. Nobody's going to finish that? All right, that's fine.
No, that was it. It was 32 seconds.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, that was it. All right, so we have some fascinating analysis about the affidavit into the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago and Trump's estate and all of the surrounding information about it. The guy talking is a legal expert, I suppose.
Did they release it to the public, or are they not going to?
It is a redacted version that has been released.
Yeah.
That basically, just listen to this guy. We're going to play this whole thing. Actually, it's 6 minutes. We'll just stop me when you want to stop me, I guess. It's too long to just play through.
Davis is a former law clerk to Justice Neil.
All right, you can stop.
Also founder and president of the Article 3 Project. So I don't know, Mike, how much of a chance you've had to go through this. Some of it unredacted, much of it redacted. We know a little bit about the what. We still do not know much about the why in terms of the urgency to conduct an unprecedented raid of a former president's home. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so this affidavit, heavily redacted affidavit, it further evidences that this home raid on President Trump was unprecedented, it was unnecessary, and it was unlawful. And again, what I've been saying since August 8th, the president has the absolute constitutional authority to declassify anything he wants for any reason he wants, and he doesn't have to get permission from any bureaucrat at the National Archives to do that. And that is confirmed by a 1988 Supreme Court case, Department of the Navy versus Egan. So there goes the underlying potential charge for espionage that's in this.
So basically they're saying like, hey, you have ex-President Trump in your possession documents which we have deemed to be top secret, and you're not allowed to have them in that space. So what do they do about it? They made like one contact to President Trump, and he was like, hey, you want the documents? Here, they're in boxes. They're ready to go for you to pick up. Just come by and get them whenever you want to. And they were like, okay. And then didn't come by and pick up the boxes, and then raided him. Like went to like, okay, just listen to this.
That was in this warrant. Second point, the president has the sole statutory authority to make the determination whether a record is a personal record that belongs to him or a presidential record that goes to the bureaucrats at the National Archives and then almost certainly gets sent back to the president to put in his former library, or in the former president's library. And that is confirmed by a 2012 decision by an Obama judge related to Judicial Watch and Tom Fenton's lawsuits against President Clinton related to 8 years of audio tapes in his sock drawer. So what is left? They're looking at obstruction. Well, it is legally impossible for a former president to obstruct investigations into non-crimes. But the Justice Department did not have the power to even look at these crimes because it doesn't matter what the...
Okay, so ultimately, when you leave the president's office, you can take documents with you, you can declassify things so that you can put them into your own documents for whatever reason. because that's what they do. Obama did it. Other presidents have done it. Clinton did it. Or so that you can have the documents for your presidential library, which most presidents, if not all, have a presidential library that they set up after they are president that kind of goes over accomplishments and has pictures. You know what I mean? It's like a museum kind of, right?
Yeah, I thought the whole thing was not that he had them, but that it was improperly stored.
So this guy goes into it. It's in Mar-a-Lago under lock and key, and he's got fucking Secret Service agents there on site. Like, I don't know how you could say that. Okay, you could say like that's not the proper storage method, but Hillary Clinton had how many fucking files on her server, her private server for public things that got hacked, that had all kinds of secret information in it, supposedly, that we'll never fucking know, that did get hacked, that was leaked, that people did get. Like, this was like paper files in boxes locked away in a closet inside of Mar-a-Lago. Like, no one got them, dude. Like, no one had any access. Maybe, like, some fucking strike team under some weird scenario could, like, bust in the door and fucking know where to go and, like, cut through the locks and get the papers and leave. You know, I don't know, dude. Like, who knows? But the point is, it's unprecedented. They went outside of the bounds of what they, you know, are legally allowed to do. Trump was completely within his rights with everything that he had, and he was previously cooperating with them for, like, returning some papers that they wanted back, and, you know, like, whatever it is, yeah, sure. Like, there's if you look at the affidavit, the parts of it that aren't redacted, there's a letter from Trump's lawyers attached to the back of it that is required by law to be attached to the back of it. And he basically reiterates a bunch of what this guy's saying right here, which is like, hey, the president can determine whether things are top secret or not. Like, he can declassify things. He has full authority to do that. So when he says it as president, this is no longer classified. That's it. Like, the paper can be previously stamped classified, and then he can say that's not classified anymore, and then it's not classified anymore because he's the president. So there's that part of it. And then the other part of it is there was some fight with Obama where the National Archives wanted some papers back from him, and he told them to go fuck themselves, basically. And they went to court, went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled, yeah, go fuck yourselves. They're his papers. So they're going against that too. So I don't know. Like, the thing that they were looking for in the affidavit was the smoking gun evidence of what it was that they were looking for specifically. And what it turns out is that it was a very broad, generalized, nothing specific warrant that you wouldn't have for this kind of scenario. Because, like, if the ex-president was, like, let's say in league with Russia, right? And there was, like, these, like, Russian document communications between him and the Kremlin, and that's what they were looking for, then that would be in the fucking document. But it's not. That's not what they're looking for. It's not some espionage thing. It's just like, oh, well, you had something. We don't want you to run for president. Fuck you. That's what it is.
So if he can declassify, which we already know that he can declassify anything he wants, at the end of it, right before his last day in office,
everything, by the way.
If he wanted to, could he just like fucking declassify everything?
Yeah, well, almost everything. He can't declassify like nuclear secrets or stuff.
Well, what he did, the literally on January 20th, the last thing he did was declassify a bunch of documents that were related to the Russia hoax.
Yep.
And then he went on later and there was a request. I can't remember the exact timeline. It was last year. There was a request to bring back some documents, and there were 27 boxes of documents that he had. He had returned 15 of them, and as was requested, and when the requests were put in for more, he had told them to come get them, or that's the response they got. Then he went and filed a RICO case back in February, I want to say. He filed a RICO case on the Hillary Clinton campaign and all the stuff having to do with the Russia hoax. And it was immediately after that the FBI got with the what's the name of the organization that he was turning documents into? The National, what the fuck is it called?
National
Archive. To start stirring this shit up as soon as he went. It was right after he filed the RICO case into the Russia hoax. That's what started all this shit. And it had nothing to do with nuclear secrets or anything like that. They don't want whatever's in there being put into a public court case.
Right.
They don't want those documents being used because there's how many fucking people's names from the FBI and God knows where else are on those fucking documents.
And that's ultimately what it is. There's all kinds of things that the administration, the current administration, and people who are in the bowels of the bureaucracy, let's say, who have done all kinds of wrongdoing in the last couple of years, since 2016, really.
And it's a bunch of people who were in the Obama administration, too. And it's a bunch of people who were in the FBI at the time that were all involved in that. And they don't want that information getting out.
They all have very, very strong motivation, if that's true, to do whatever they have to do to hide that information, including raiding the former president's house, apparently.
So the only thing that stops that, right, is if Trump actually declassified the information that he had. Do we know that? Do we know the information that he had, or if he declassified the information that he had?
Well, the story is that he declassified a whole bunch of shit his last day in office.
Yeah.
And then...
But we don't know what
verified. They verified that. That wasn't just a story.
Well, the other part of it is that there was a moving van that went from the White House to Mar-a-Lago and dropped a whole bunch of boxes of documents off. And that was also documented. So those are the documents that he fucking declassified and brought to his residence, and those are the documents that he just got raided for.
All right.
As far as I understand, I might have some part of that wrong. Who knows? Maybe there's some details still to be developing, probably. There's certainly a whole bunch of this information that's redacted out. Some of it is obviously redacted to hide the identities of the people involved, which is a normal redaction. Others... I don't know why, there's just whole pages that are just nothing but black. So who knows what's on that,
They just need to come out with, or someone needs to leak the actual unredacted paper.
Well, they always have the fucking thing ready to leak when it's someone on the right or someone they don't like, right?
Yeah.
But when it's like Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book or the full fucking affidavit for Trump's raid, yeah, you're not going to get it.
I think we should just blame Andrew Tate. He can't say anything to us anyway now.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck Andrew Tate.
Who the fuck is Andrew Tate?
He's he was a very good kickboxer. Like, he was pretty fucking good. But he was after his kickboxing career, he was a social media platform person that was misogynistic to levels that would make E Honda blush.
I probably like him then.
Wait, is this that fucking bald-headed looking?
Yes.
This dude pops up in all my social media, and I don't know why. And yeah, he's always fucking talking shit and yeah, he's like he's like not like realistically like pro man. He's like he hates women and is basically like they are trash. You should just use them and throw them away. They serve no purpose other than to satisfy men. Never, ever, ever get into a relationship because women don't deserve anything. Don't give them kids. Don't give them fucking money. Say whatever you have to say to fuck them and then move on and be very, like he's a fucking piece of shit. I know exactly
he's a piece of shit.
Now.
But he's he got canceled. Like, he is off of all social media because there's a video of him beating the shit out of his partner.
Well, does that surprise anybody? He sounds like the kind of dude who would beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, that's why we could blame him, because he's not on social media no more. He doesn't have a fucking voice. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, him and Alex Jones.
Yes.
Oh, we can talk shit about Alex Jones too? I didn't think we could do that on this chat.
I mean, you can talk all the shit you want about Alex Jones on the internet because the internet, it'll probably like make the chat do better. Like we'll get all kinds of new viewers because it will get pushed up the fucking algorithm.
I don't really have much shit to talk about Alex Jones. I mean, I think he's fucking nuts, but I think he at least comes from a good place. I think he's wrong about at least half the shit he's ever fucking said because he is factually wrong, which is why you got the shit suit out of him. But I still think he's right at probably at least almost half of the shit he's ever said. I think Alex Jones started from and probably for a long time stayed coming from a good place and trying to uncover shit. And I think he, I appreciate that. But at a certain point in his career, he just went off the fucking deep end. And because honestly, in my opinion, because it paid well to be that fucking far gone, it paid well to put on that fucking persona and say ridiculous fucking shit. I mean, like the whole fucking rant he went on about fucking, they were growing amphibian human hybrids in tanks and, they couldn't breathe and they were just sucking away. It was the most horrible thing I'd ever seen. And fucking talking about slave colonies on Mars that our government said. Like, this is legitimately shit he said. I've literally seen it come out of his fucking face. But then again, he also says some really good shit about Epstein and all this other stuff that he was right on for a really long time. So I think he got caught up in his own shit at some point and became a more exaggerated version of himself. And that has, if anything, tanks him or has caused him problems. It's that.
So
dude, you need to go back and watch vintage Alex Jones. Like, watch like an Alex Jones podcast from 15 years ago. And it's like, holy fuck. He's talking about like what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Like he's talking about all of the things in the world and why.
Yeah. No, I used to actually listen to Alex Jones. Like I said, he's from fucking Texas. We used to get his radio show in the early and mid 90s in Dallas. I used to listen to it on the radio before he had completely lost his shit. You know what I mean? And he started off talking about like the Branch Davidians and all kinds of other stuff. Then he got into a bunch of Clinton stuff and so I mean, I used to listen.
Well,
I listened
he paid to rebuild their
whatever.
church.
Huh?
He's the one who paid to rebuild their. Well, like it wasn't like his money or whatever, but he got donations together and raised the money to, and like got everyone together and fucking fed them and was there every day while they were building the church and built their fucking church there, man. Like I give Alex Jones all kinds of props.
He's done a lot of good things and he was right on a whole lot of shit. The problem is, at a certain point, he just started to become a caricature of himself, and I think he bought into that. Yeah. And I think, you know what I mean? That's what I think happened to it.
One thing I couldn't
stand. Still didn't put out some good information. It's not that him continuing to talk about Epstein and Clinton and all these things wasn't correct. It's that when you mingle that shit in with fucking amphibian people and slave colonies on Mars, like, dude. Like it starts to.
I have a question here, Matt. Which one would you believe to be true in the near future? The slave colonies on Mars, or the amphibious human hybrids?
I mean, what's more likely to be true?
Yes.
I probably amphibian people is more likely to be true than slave colonies on Mars.
I can see that.
I feel like
he's talking about chimera. He's been talking about chimera, like mixes between humans and other things for a really long time.
Well, they've actually done that research, right?
Do you know what is real? Chimera, human hybrids between humans and other things. I'm not exactly sure which people. I've seen things before that are like, okay, there's the proof. Here's an article about it. Here's like Russian fucking scientists funded by British money, and like I forget what it was exactly, but there's been several things, and it's mixtures of pigs and humans, so that they can get like hearts and shit out of them, so that they have like human genetic markers and proteins, so that your body doesn't reject it.
Well, what they're doing, but they're not creating live beings. They're not creating anything that fucking. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about, and you're right. And that's research they've been working on since the 1970s. but they're not that we know about. They do not have the capability to like reproduce a living being, not only because they don't know how to do it, but also because even if they did, the chances of it surviving, are damn near impossible with current levels of technology, at least the stuff that we know of. Now, we could always say there's some fucking Area 51 shit we don't fucking know about that's helping them do stuff.
I mean,
Who the fuck knows about that? But
didn't they already clone the fucking sheep like 10 years ago?
yeah, they cloned the sheep back in the 90s. It was in the 90s.
Years ago? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Well, and cloning is different than hybrid organisms. That's very, very different. It's much easier to clone something.
Well, they have CRISPR, dude. They have like ways to manipulate genetic material, and then you can take a DNA strand and like cut a chunk out of it and put a chunk from another one in, right? And then fucking put that all inside of a cell, and then grow that inside of an egg and see what you get. Like that's kind of like rudimentarily what they do, and it's crazy. I mean, they're doing the same thing with our food. Like when they want to make, I don't know, I forget what it was. It was some sort of silk extract product that they could get from.
Oh, goats. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
they had interwoven some genes, some silk spider genes into a goat, and got it to actually work. Where there was what it was is the genes that they had spliced in specifically had to do with the genes that produce milk. So what it would do is it would produce milk that had the biochemical whatever the fuck it is in it that you could then somehow it wasn't like it just came out in fucking silk strands or anything, but the milk afterwards could be turned into silk somehow, and I don't remember what the exact details were, but yeah, essentially the fucking cow would milk silk like a fucking spider would, because they were able to
still rhymes with milk, so it's halfway there already.
I mean, we also have silk milk.
That's true. We've got silk almond milk, so maybe that's all that shit is.
Silk milk.
You buy that shit at the store right now.
Yeah, you definitely can. It's actually almond milk's fucking good.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's expensive as shit, but it tastes pretty tasty.
Almond milk does not taste good.
I love almond milk.
No,
I
almond
love
milk is good. Like
almond milk tastes good. Soy milk tastes like asshole.
Yeah,
but almond milk actually legitimately tastes good.
It does.
The fuck was that?
My phone, sorry.
Oh shit!
I thought it was some like live action news coming on.
All right. Let's get back to this Trump affidavit. We still have like 4 minutes of this video left.
I done forgot what the fuck you said.
You do that. I gotta go smoke a cigarette.
We went off on a tangent. All right, let's keep going.
Evidence shows in this affidavit, David, no matter what that evidence shows, as a matter of law, it is legally impossible for President Trump to have committed espionage or to have violated some Presidential Records Act. The Presidential Records Act actually contemplates that former presidents have classified records. It doesn't differentiate. Congress gives former presidents office space, secure office space. They give the former president's staff security clearance and Secret Service protection to guard these paper records. And there's no allegation that any of these records got into the wrong hands, unlike Hillary Clinton's home server, where she had foreign governments hack the most highly classified secrets in our government, and she didn't get an FBI raid. So what was so urgent that caused the Biden Justice Department to go get these records? And I think it's because President Trump declassified and made personal a copy of his copy of the Crossfire Hurricane records, the Russian collusion records, and the Biden Justice Department never made them public because they're so damning on Obama, Hillary Clinton, the FBI, and the intel community.
Yeah. See, there you go. That spells it out exactly right there. He had a bunch of information about how all of these people had committed fucking serious crimes. And we'll get into some more crimes here in a minute, because there's another video that I've got coming up that's just like, if you guys haven't seen it and you don't know what's going on, will blow your mind. If you do know what's going on, I hope to hear your thoughts on it. But it is getting crazy. I think I missed a super chat here. Daniel dropped in $2, said, is Elon going to Mars to free the slaves, though? Is that why Elon wants to get to Mars?
What?
Because because there's a slave colony on Mars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not gonna be Elon, man. It's gonna be the other dude, Bezos.
Oh yeah, no, Bezos is the one enslaving them there.
Well, I guess so, right? Because eventually Amazon's gonna be the first delivery system to Mars. So I don't.
God damn, how much is the shipping on that shit?
$2.
Free shipping.
Free.
Amazon Prime.
If ending the slavery on Mars is going to up my Amazon subscription, then I don't know about that, Elon.
Man, that shit's been going up every fucking year.
What, the Amazon fee or whatever?
At first, when I first did it, I think it was like 99. Now it's gone up to 139. Like, fuck.
And what do you think that freeing the slaves going to do then? It's going to be like 200 months?
I don't know, but if we get one more person of color in this chat, we're going to be outnumbered.
Yeah, we can't have that.
Yeah, you got 2 Mexicans and a black in here.
That sounds like the start of a great joke there, brother. Just waiting for it.
All right, let's keep going.
We know that this unsealed affidavit did reveal 14 of the 15 boxes retrieved from the former president earlier this year did contain 184 documents with the classified markings. We learned of those documents, 67 were marked confidential, 92 were marked secret, 25 documents were marked top secret. So if the president was being, and if we were able to see a trail of that actually happening, it doesn't appear in this document, or at least it's redacted if it is in that document. If there is a trail of authorities asking on multiple occasions the president to turn over those documents, which they apparently knew were there, isn't that a problem, Mike? If the president had the opportunity to hand these documents over when asked?
The librarians are asking for overdue copies of the overdue books that are not overdue. The president has the legal right to declassify these records and keep a personal copy. The former president had every right to keep these records, and the bureaucrats at the archives did not, as confirmed by the 1988 Supreme Court decision, Department of Navy versus Egan, and the 2012 Judicial Watch case against President Obama with the tapes in his sock drawer. They can demand them all they want. And the question you have to ask is okay, so they're demanding these records, and Attorney General Merrick Garland leaked that he was deliberating for weeks on whether to order this home raid before he went to a biased judge, Bruce Reinhart, down in Florida, who just recused from President Trump's civil lawsuit versus Hillary Clinton because of his 2017 Facebook post where he bashed President Trump's integrity. So if he had weeks to deliberate, why didn't Attorney General Merrick Garland get an opinion from the Department of Justice's Office of Legal Counsel, or OLC? And the reason he didn't get it, presumably, is because he would not have gotten the answer he wanted. This was a political raid on a former president and someone who is almost certainly going to be a political.
So, again, if you were going to do something legally unprecedented, like raid the former president's house for documents that he has the legal right to have, and you don't have any legal right to demand that he turns into you. Yes, that's the precedent. That's what's going on here. They don't have any right to demand these documents. He has every right to have them. He has every right to declassify them at the time that he did, right? Like, everything here is legit. And they, rather than talk to their own legal counsel, which would have told them, hey, you can't do that, they decided not to because they knew that they would tell them, no, you can't do that. And then they went judge shopping around for someone who didn't like Trump, that they knew would rubber stamp this whole raid, and waited till, like, the circuit judges are called circuit for a reason, because they kind of, one of them's in and then the other one's in, and then so they wait for the one that they like to come around, and then, okay, he's in today. All right, let's take this to him. And he rubber stamped it, and then they went after Trump. And they got permission from the Attorney General. They got permission from the White House, as you will see.
Presumably, do you know that to be the case?
Of President Biden.
When you say presumably, do you know that to be the case?
Presumably that he's going to run for president?
No, that there was a trail of him not wanting to ask because he wasn't going to get the answer that he wanted.
Well, I mean, why else would, if he had weeks to deliberate on something this unprecedented and consequential, why would he not seek an opinion from the Office of Legal Counsel on this? This is a political raid that was, and then they said that the Attorney General didn't personally authorize this raid. He absolutely did. They also said that the Biden White House was not involved with this raid. They absolutely were, because White House Deputy Counsel to the President, Jonathan Sue, had to relay that President Biden waived President Trump's assertion of executive privilege, which paved the way for this raid. And so President Biden was absolutely involved in this raid, and so were his officials in the Biden.
So if I'm reading that correctly, they were like, okay, we can't do this raid if Biden's office says that it's okay that he has these documents. So we have to have Biden's office say, nope, you don't get the privilege. You don't get to have those documents by our fucking account. So yes, check that box. Okay, what else? Like get the right judge, do the thing. All right, send the dudes, kill the dog, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely in all probability that is what happened. What I would like to know is what the other side is saying, right?
Oh, what CNN?
What CNN and stuff is saying about this, or are they even running stories on this anymore?
I mean, we can find out. We can come back to this after we get through these next few stories. Yeah, we'll do that. All right. Did you guys see this?
Yes, I did. I watched this specific clip.
Watched it before I went to work.
So this is Zuckerberg recently on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about the 2020 elections, talking about the FBI coming to his offices during that time, what was requested of him, and what they did.
How do you guys handle things when they're a big news item that's controversial? Like there was a lot of attention on Twitter during the election because of the Hunter Biden laptop story. The New York Post.
Had that too.
Yeah, so you guys censored that as well?
So we took a different path than Twitter. I mean, basically the background here is the FBI, I think, basically came to us, and some folks on our team. It was like, hey, just so you know, like you should be on high alert. We thought that there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on notice that basically there's about to be some kind of dump of that's similar to that. So just be vigilant. So our protocol is different from Twitter's. What Twitter did is they said you can't share this at all. We didn't do that. What we do is we have, if something is reported to us as potentially...
Okay, so real quick, before he goes into how they fucking censor people on Facebook, what is he talking about there? The FBI in 2020 went to Zuckerberg's people and preemptively said, hey, there's about to be this Russian information dump, and you need to be on the lookout for it and be ready to censor it because we don't need this information getting out there. What was that information dump? Well, it turns out that was the Hunter Biden fucking payoff and all the Hunter laptop story, all that stuff, right?
Right.
Which ended up being 100% legitimate and true. Even though the FBI went after the laptop repair shop owner, even though they went to Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and made them fucking censor people right before the election about some potentially damning information that ended up being true so that their guy could get in so that they could get the other guy out. First Amendment, my fucking ass. You guys should be absolutely enraged by this. There should be no point should the federal government be getting into people's business and trying to manipulate algorithms and like hide information so that they can manipulate people into voting a certain way. There's no world where that makes sense.
I mean, there is a world where that makes sense. It's China, right? China does that all the fucking time. Now, is it right? No.
Well, here's the world where it makes sense. If the guy that you're trying to get out is literally Hitler, and that's what they've painted Trump to be, whether he is or not. And some people have drank the Kool-Aid and they believe that he's Hitler and they will do anything that they have to. And other people know the truth that he's not, that he's just against their fucking Hitlerism, their brand of fucking Nazism, you know, and that he's a threat to their regime. And so that they're doing whatever they can to propagate that lie and fucking stir the pot. So there's two kinds of people on that side. There's the willful idiot and the like knowledgeable controller. I don't know what you call it.
Right. Which the knowledgeable controller is the more evil person. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they know that
they know exactly what's going on.
That's true. And those are the kind of people who work for the FBI who were going after Trump and doing all these things. And they're doing it blatantly, dude. I mean, like the two-tier justice system. I don't know what you'd call it. It's not even that anymore. It's tyrannical justice system that we have in this country. If you happen to have the wrong political views, they'll throw the fucking the full force of the federal government on your life, and you'll never get out from underneath it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's listen on. What do they do on Facebook to make your voice not heard, even though you think it is?
Misinformation, important misinformation. We also have this third-party fact-checking program because we don't want to be deciding what's true and false. And for the
right, okay, again, who the fuck is the third-party fact-checking system? Who is that? Who gets to decide what information is true and false?
Right.
Who pays for their bills? Do they get any money from the government? Are they influenced by anything from the current administration? Do they have any motive behind what they decide what's true or not? Have you read some of these fucking like fact checker information things where they're like, oh, well, this is flagged as potentially untrue because blah, blah, blah. And then you click on it and read it. And it's like, okay, like if you look at the very minutia, he said the word backwards. So yeah, technically you're right. But fuck you. That's not what you're fucking trying to say. You're trying to like dispel this as a myth when every fucking thing that he said was true, except for that little thing that he got wrong, whatever it is. I don't know.
It's sometimes, most of the time, it just basically whatever CNN says goes into the fact checker thing. Damn near.
So well,
it's the same shit.
The actual name of the fact checkers is International Fact Checking Network, IFCN. I don't know who runs that. I just know that's the thing.
Well, what they're doing is determining what you're able to say online, right? And what online on these social media marketplaces or whatever you want to call them are the town square. That's where people go to debate ideas. You don't go to you know, like Central Park and stand on a soapbox anymore. That's what they used to do. Now we have fucking Twitter. Now we have Facebook. Now we have YouTube. Now we have all of these different things that allow us to reach across party lines and state lines and country lines and even fucking, you know, cultural lines and language barriers and talk to people and fucking find out information. And what they're doing is saying, here are things that you cannot say. But there's another side of that, which is, here are things that people cannot hear. And that's the ultimate thing that they're trying to do, is limit what you can hear. There were movies. Like if you lived in a communist country in the 70s, there were movies you didn't get to see because, you know, there was some part of it that had some anti-communist propaganda in the movie, and like Russia didn't want that shit, so they never allowed it to be released in their country.
And
so
that's still what goes on in China.
Yes. So there's entire forms of art and music pieces and literature and all kinds of shit that they don't want you to read, that they don't want you to hear, that they don't want you to fucking see. Why? Why? We have the first fucking amendment in this country, and they're They're trouncing all over it because it's not the government that's doing it. It's not the government. It's these fucking private corporations at the behest of the fucking government. As we're seeing right now, Zuckerberg's laying it out. How they fucking destroyed a presidency and hid information from the American people that they didn't want them to see for a limited period of time, just enough to get through this vote so that they can fuck everything up for the next fucking 4 years. Got old man Wrinkles in there, fucking fumbly falling on his fucking face, making a mockery of our fucking country, destroying our progeny, destroying our entire future. Have you seen the fucking debt? It's insane. The value of the dollar is about to fucking go. I mean, you guys know this. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just pissed. Whatever.
But yeah, we don't care about that. We want to know what the Kardashians are doing.
I mean, I kind of do, but no.
Nobody cares in general.
Oh
my God, my gas. The gases are high. That's all they talk about.
Right, and that's the thing, right? It's not that nobody cares. It's just the people that do care, they don't have that same type of polarization attitude or influence out there on social medias right now. There are people out there, right? You have people who basically all the people who are on Joe Rogan, they go to different routes and they have audiences and people like that do care. We just don't see it. And we should, but we just don't.
Well, and that's the thing, dude. Remember back in the day on YouTube, you'd like click on a video and then it'd be like about, I don't know, Egypt, right? And then the next video would be about Egypt, but it was something else. And it was like, oh, that's cool too. I'll watch it. And then that would lead into something else, into something else, into something else. And it would just lead you down this like rabbit hole of interesting videos from all of these different people that were kind of interrelated, that didn't really like that. There were creators that had nothing to do with each other, but were doing similar content to the point where you found all of them, right? Like now, like they don't want you discovering new people. They want to shrink. If you already have an audience, they want it to shrink. They don't want it to grow. Now, the only ones that they want to grow are like the corporate approved stamp of approval people who don't talk about anything risky ever and like make cat videos or like have their like family vlog video or whatever it is that people are interested in watching that they can market and that they can sell and then they can make money off of. But at the same time, isn't causing any political problems, isn't causing any fucking strife, isn't stirring the pot at all for anybody on any side. They just want someone nice and milquetoast in the middle. And pretty soon, YouTube's going to be nothing but fucking cat videos and, you know, like how to fix your brakes, you know?
Kind of like the old days. When YouTube first started.
When is enough enough? At what point? Are we there yet? Are we close?
God, no.
No, I think because we still got AC and plus TV to watch.
Well,
we still have power. And
most people just trying to keep the status quo. It seems like they don't want to fucking rock the boat too much.
Now, if the food in the supermarkets keep on drying up, then that's a different story.
Well, shit's also just fucking getting more expensive. Hell, I went and got a 24-pack of sodas the other day, which used to cost a little over $7. It's now over $10.
But you know what? People bitch about that, but they still gonna buy.
Yeah, and then you still have money to buy it, right? Like that's the whole thing.
Only reason I noticed it is because I looked at the receipt afterwards. Because my wife scans the receipts.
Now, when stuff starts drying up, then you will see the difference. But until then,
we're like a vehicle going down the road and the gas tank is out of gas, right? There's still gas in the line. There's still gas in the carburetor that's spraying it into the engine. It's still running right now, but it's starting to kind of sputter a little bit. And everyone thinks like, oh, it'll be fine. It's still going. See? But the thing is, in a couple of minutes, every last drop of vapor that's in your entire fuel system is going to be burned up. Like, things are going to start slowing down. Like, everyone's got a job right now, right? Like, you look at, like, the job market. Oh, it's growing. There's more jobs right now, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Well, if everything costs more money, then people aren't going to be spending money on all of the things that they normally would, which means some businesses are going to have to start laying people off. And then some businesses are going to go under completely because they don't have the market to fucking, like, it's like a luxury good that no one really needs, that they're just buying because it's cool. And oh, now things are more expensive. I guess I'm not buying the cool thing anymore. You know what I mean? Like, gone, done. Hey, I like going out to this place because they have cool games and good food and stuff, but it's expensive. I guess we'll only go there on the birthday or whatever. Okay, now there's not enough people going out. Place is gone. Boom, done. No place to go out. Oh, okay, like food's getting really expensive at the grocery store. I can't afford it anymore. I'm just going to steal it. We're going to steal everything I need. Great, that works great. Works awesome because they're just going to keep putting it on the shelf. And then pretty soon they're going to be like, we're not making any money because there's too many people stealing this shit. Close it down. Boom, done. You know?
Just like all the Walgreens in San Francisco. They keep closing down because people keep stealing from them. And in Seattle, I think, too.
But that's also not what the, what is it? It's not due to inflation or anything like that, right? It's because of the policies that are in place in those places.
Yeah.
Carbs do spray, Mark Malone.
But, you know, it's still a mixture of both.
Carbs do spray a little bit, not like an injector.
Well, a carb, what it does is it mixes fuel with air by spraying it through a little needle.
Yeah.
And it particleizes it inside of a chamber and then sucks it through.
Yeah, but it's not like a spray like an injector. Maybe that's what Mark thinks of. But no,
Maybe.
It definitely sprays some shit in there.
Yeah, it's not into the cylinder. It's into the, like, air intake manifold.
Mm-hmm. So, the fact checkers that Facebook uses is from Pointer. And the biggest funders of Pointer are Google News Lab, Charles and Koch Foundation, Craig Newman Foundation, Foundation of Advancing Alcohol Responsibility, and a few others. But the Koch one is the one that seemed funny. Oh, and Blue Cross Blue Shield.
I don't trust. And then here's another thing: like, people with money invest in these conglomerate corporations that are like, oh, it's ABC Investment Group, and we own this, and we own that, and we own part of this, and we own part of that, and it's like, okay, and then there's like the other investment group, like ZXY, you know, and they have like similar investments, and I don't know, like, you don't know who owns what anymore, you know. They're not.
No, it's like the what is it? Only 7 places own the fucking all the cereals.
Yeah, exactly. Works the same with media corporations too.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, all right, Zucky, what else you got to say?
I think it was 5 or 7 days when it was basically being determined whether it was false. The distribution on Facebook was decreased, but people were still allowed to share it. So you could still share it, you could still consume it.
So when you say the distribution is decreased,
It got shared.
How does that work?
It basically, the ranking in newsfeed was a little bit less. So fewer people saw it than would have otherwise. So it definitely.
By what percentage?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's meaningful. But I mean, but basically a
meaningful percent, meaning no one saw it unless they go directly to your Facebook page and scroll down in your stories till they see it. It will not just show up in theirs. They will not just see it in their feed. They have to go to your page, and then and only then will they be able to see it.
A lot of people were still able to share it. We got a lot of complaints that was the case. Obviously this is a hyper political issue. So depending on what side of the political spectrum, you either think we didn't censor enough or censored it way too much. But we weren't sort of as black and white about it as Twitter. We just kind of thought, hey, look, if the FBI, which I still view as a legitimate institution in this country, it's like very professional law enforcement, they come to us and tell us that we need to be on guard about something, then I want to take that seriously.
Did they specifically say you need to be on guard about that story?
No, I don't remember if it was that specifically, but it basically fit the pattern.
Why is it?
What?
How do you not remember what the FBI told you?
He's fucking lying. You can tell by the expression on his face. He's full of shit, and he's
a goddamn robot.
Yeah, he is. And look at him. He looks fucking psychotic.
How is it that fucking people are okay with any corporation censoring anybody? Like,
because it's the corporation, right? They can fucking do that. I don't care. They can. The corporation can tell you to get off their property. That's fine. It's the same shit.
Right. They use the private company.
You don't have a constitutional right to stand on their property. You do have a constitutional right to have freedom of speech, and if they have a platform,
Now, see, that's the thing, right? If they are a platform, cool. And they let people actually use it as a platform, perfect. They get the platform protections. But if they are a publisher and they are doing what a publisher is supposed to be doing, and they are presenting themselves as a platform, that's different.
Now, Ohio was saying something earlier. He's been advocating for, Bill of Rights version for the internet. Weren't they actually working on something like that a couple years ago and trying to pass, but it got knocked down?
I don't know.
Well, one more time, what did you say?
About having, like a Bill of Rights version for the internet, so to speak, because Ohio Patriot was talking
but
about
yeah,
it.
I think they were trying to bring something like that around, but no, because there's already something out there like that. They haven't.
Wait, just for the U.S. alone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but a corporation, going back to what you were saying, Taco, can tell you to get off their property. Yes, that's true. But you don't have a First Amendment right to be on their property.
You don't have a First Amendment right to say shit on their property either.
You literally do.
No.
Yeah, if you're on their property legally, you literally have a First Amendment right to say whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, fine. You can say whatever the fuck you want. That corporation
You're
will
on
tell
their,
you
you,
get the hell
you were
out.
on their you were on their intellectual property legally. You have a Facebook account. You have the legal right to say whatever the fuck you want, so long as it's not inciting violence.
Or goes against their company's policy. Now, here's the thing. I'm not defending Facebook because Facebook is trying to be a publisher with a platform fucking rules, and that's wrong, plain and simple. But if they first came out and say, hey, we're a publisher of information, we will control this shit, that's different.
Yeah.
Well, then they don't get the legal protections that they.
They would not get those legal protections, and they could get sued for the shit. That's what needs to fucking happen to places like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, whoever fucking else.
I mean, so
they want to be
change
both.
this thing? Wait, so does it change things since Facebook is now part of what's called like Meta?
No. It shouldn't. It shouldn't at all, because if they keep on along these same lines, they are then acting like a publisher, and that they should be treated as such and be able to be sued and all that shit.
Well, they should be able to take down your post, right, and censor your speech.
No.
If
hold
on. God damn it, let me finish my fucking sentence. If they then followed that with legal charges from a law that you broke by saying the thing that you said. That's it.
One more time? My dog was barking.
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whoever should be able to censor your speech and take down your post if and only if immediately after doing so they go to the federal or state or whatever authority and turn you in for committing a crime with the post that they took down. Like if you post a video of abusing a child.
Sure. I mean, they should fucking report the shit anyway, right?
I'm saying that's the only time that they should be able to censor anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Breaking the law.
Yeah, most definitely. I would give them that, sure.
Yeah. Anyway. Jesse Kelly, you guys know who that is? He's a right-wing pundit, talk show host, radio host guy.
No.
What is it?
Says, I never really gave the Ashley Biden stuff much thought until FBI agents started kicking down doors for possession of a diary. Now we know it's real. Joe Biden showered with his daughter.
Yeah.
This motherfucker is so goddamn dirty in so many ways. I don't see how he's still president. Like, he needs to be taken out of office immediately. There's like several different avenues which make sense. You could say, like, okay, the motherfucker's senile and old. He can't fucking fulfill the duties of his office because of his senility and age. You could say his son is corrupt as fuck and obviously being bought off by foreign national governments to be, you know, given favor through the federal government through foreign policy. Or you could say this motherfucker's a goddamn pedophile who showered with his daughter and all kinds of other shit we probably don't know about.
So, yes, right? I would agree with your points 100%. If we get him out, shit definitely goes downhill faster.
Oh, yeah. I mean, then you got Kamala Harris, but...
Like that whole not having shit on the grocery stores and like all of that gets expedited by 10, in my opinion.
I mean, I see no difference. Like you replace a Democrat with another Democrat.
Well, no, I'm talking about like the aftermath of that, not just for the actual office, right? But I'm talking about the sound waves that's gonna come out through that action right now in this volatile time. Like, I get it, we need them out, but we kind of need them in a little bit to keep the waves from fucking hitting the goddamn shore. Just enough till we get somebody better. I
understand what you're saying, but like, think about all the things that they're doing right now, and then look at what they did to Trump. Right? Trump was in office for 4 years. They obstructed him every step of the way. They put him in a 3-year-long investigation that led to nothing. A big fucking nothing burger, as they called it. Right?
And wasted millions of dollars in the process.
And held him up from doing things that he wanted to do for his entire presidency. I'm saying that there's legitimate reasons why you should be doing exactly the same thing as far as going after him. And it would probably have the same effect as in making it so that it's difficult for the administration to get anything done, which honestly is ideal. Like, you don't want them making a bunch of moves.
No, not right now, definitely not. But no, there are legitimate reasons to get him the fuck out. It's just, would anyone there, whether it be on the left or on the right, actually do it? Especially right now, I don't see it. I don't see anybody bringing up anything as far as impeachment would go on any grounds at the moment.
Following the Zuckerberg-Rogan podcast, the FBI... I don't know if this is like a press release or what it is, but the FBI says it routinely notifies social media companies of potential threats following the Zuckerberg podcast, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, they basically came out and said, yeah, well, you know, that's what we do. We go to you guys and we say, hey, this is true, this is not. Here's what you should look out for. Here's the arbiters of truth that tell you what the American people should be allowed to hear and what the American people should not be allowed to hear.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, look, the FBI's got to do what they got to do, right? They got to say, hey, this shit might be coming out. I put it more on the fucking companies to actually say, okay, I believe you.
The FBI has no business whatsoever trying to affect political discourse or social discourse in this country under any color of anything that you could say. They just don't. It's a limit of the government laid out in the Constitution of our country. It's the First Amendment. That's fine. That's what the government doesn't have power to do, is limit your speech. What are they doing? Directly going to the place where everyone goes to have their fucking argument and saying, hey, here's an argument you motherfuckers can't talk about. How is that not doing that?
No, apparently it's just says notified. I'm just going off what I got.
How is it not doing that? It's not just notifying.
It says notifies. I only have that.
Yeah, well, you're not looking at it right, I don't think.
It says notifies right there in print. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, but what is that? Okay, the FBI comes by and notifies you that they're going to fucking do some shit to your neighbor.
Okay.
Do you believe him?
Have fun. I don't know what to tell you.
Do you believe him?
Probably.
Do you believe your neighbor's a bad guy because the FBI is going after him?
No.
Well, they do.
Okay, that's great. That's more power to them, right? Again, just by what you're showing me, FBI went to this company. The company said, "I got your back, B."
Yeah,
I put it more on the company than I do the FBI.
When it came to the Hunter laptop story, that was literally the thing that if people knew about would have changed the vote in the 2020 election, and Biden wouldn't have been in office. That was the FBI going to Facebook and to YouTube and to Twitter and notifying them. That is the result.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't the company have any say-so on this? What the fuck are we talking
No,
about?
they don't, because you don't get to fucking say what people can and can't say in America.
No, what I'm saying is it's more on the company, because, again, I'm just going by what you're showing me. FBI says, hey, FBI.
The First Amendment says
we are
that
the
you
part
have
of the
the right
FBI.
to say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Here's the thing
and there's
that
not
you
a
need to
government
look out for.
organization and there's not a goddamn private organization in this fucking
here's
world that can
here's the
stop
thing
you
that you
from
need to
fucking
look out for.
Shut the fuck up.
You shut the fuck up.
God damn it, I'm in the middle of fucking talking.
So what the fuck was I? Like, what are you talking about right now?
God damn it, dude.
But no, you can continue.
No, I was trying to say something, but you wouldn't let me because you were saying something.
But you wouldn't
Go
let me
ahead,
because you were saying something.
Motherfucker, talk. What do you got to say?
Again, I'm just going about what you're showing me here, brother. You told me to notify. To me, notify and say, hey, this might be coming out. It's on to the company at that point.
I'm saying they don't have the right to censor speech.
They're not in this context. What you are showing me, they're not censoring anything. The people who are censoring shit is the fucking company.
How are they not censoring speech?
Because the FBI just told somebody, hey, can you look out for this? It's still up to the fucking company.
So what did they do with that? Did they censor people's speech?
The company fucking did.
Yeah, so they did.
Yeah, the company did.
So they're acting like a government actor.
Which is dumb. They shouldn't do that.
They're a government actor.
Which is dumb. They should not do that. Therefore, you should sue people like FBI, Twitter, fucking Instagram, whoever fucking did this shit.
So listen. They're acting as a branch of the federal government when the federal government comes to them and says, hey, here's something you should be looking out for. Don't let people talk about this. Right? Yes or no?
I don't know. It says notify. That's all I got.
That's what happens. They notify them. What do they do?
It's up to the company to fucking listen to that.
Okay, so what did they do?
What did who do? The
What
company?
did Facebook do about the fucking Hunter
They
laptop
fucking
story?
did the stupid.
What?
They censored the Hunter bed.
Okay, so
we're on the same
censored it.
page here.
So the federal government went to a private company
And the
said,
private company
hey,
decided to
private
listen.
company, look out for this, and then they did it. So they're acting as a branch of the federal government.
Yes, the company is being dumb.
And they also have federal protection so that they can't be sued.
What? I mean, that, again, again. I'm telling you, it's mostly on the fucking company on that one.
No, it's not, because they're working for the government.
They could say not to work for the fucking government. Like, what?
No, they can't, because the government would fuck them. They would.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, they would. They'd charge them
I
money.
doubt that
they go after them. They do what the government does. The government.
I'm
the
sorry,
government
but
doesn't
people
a company
like
or it's not a company.
people like fucking Facebook, the government's not going to go after. They're just not, because there's got so much fucking shit on them already.
No, because they own Facebook.
Do they?
Where did
Thought it was the
Zuckerberg
other
get
way
his,
around.
Where did Zuckerberg get his financial start from?
I have no idea. Where did he get his start from?
It was a federal grant. I forget exactly what it was. Federal money. I forget what it is exactly. I couldn't quote it to you, but it was federal money. It was like
It was a grant?
it was a CIA program that they already had in place that they fucking just like gave him the algorithm for that he was able to create Facebook with in the first place, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's a federal fucking plant organization that was set up by them so that they could spy on people.
Okay.
They own it. and they use it to manipulate people. They're not supposed to do that. It's outside of the purview of the powers of the federal government, period. And they hide behind the fact that, oh, well, it's a private company, while at the same time going through their backdoor method and sending FBI agents in to say, hey, look out for this story and suppress it right before an election. No big deal, nothing to see here. And you're like, oh, that's totally fine. It's on the company. No, dude, it's not. It's not totally on the company. No, dude, it's not.
I said mostly
it's not
on
totally
the company.
fine. No, dude,
Not
it's
totally.
not cool. We have a First Amendment in this country for that.
I never
very
said no.
fucking reason.
Hold on. First of all, stop talking about what I said when I didn't say it was cool. I said it was all wrong, plain and simple.
Fair enough.
Now, I guarantee you that they didn't just go to Facebook. They didn't just go to Instagram. They just didn't go to Twitter. How else did we get this information? Because the FBI sent it out to everybody. Guarantee it. But there was other websites that didn't take that thing. They didn't say, okay, yeah, we're going to.
Well, they don't control everybody. They don't have complete control over the internet. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter aren't the cacophony of everywhere that you can visit to find out information.
Exactly.
But a lot of people only get their shit from Facebook, or a lot of people only get their shit from YouTube, or a lot of people
I don't
only
know
get
why.
from Twitter.
I have no idea why.
But that's the point. Like if you take out Twitter, right, you're like, okay, now we have 10 million people in this country who only get their information from Twitter. So we've got 10 million people who won't know any better. Right? That's enough to, 10 million people don't know information that's critical during an election. Is that enough to sway the election to the other way? Maybe.
Depends on what election. This one, quite possibly.
Is that a huge fucking crime? Yeah, I think so.
I think we both said it. We just put the blame in different places.
Well, you're putting the blame on the company. I'm saying the company is the government because they're acting like the government. They're taking their cues as to what they need to censor directly from the government. They get government funding, like Pfizer and Moderna's, like every fucking advertisement that they run, right? Where do they get their money? The government. Like it's all government money. If you like 3 levels of separation out.
Well, it's all government money, but the government's not the one making these fucking decisions. It's your fucking George Soros types that are fucking telling Biden and his crew what the fuck to do. It's your George Soros types that fund Media Matters, that then use organizations like Media Matters to go after advertisers to fuck with YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or all these fucking places, and and convince them that they better go along with whatever the left wing bullshit of the fucking day is. So they absolutely they got all their buddies and all that shit, and so they either fund it themselves or they use fucking taxpayer money to do this shit. And then you've got companies like with Section 230. You got all these companies that are getting all these legal protections under the law, which they shouldn't be fucking getting at all in any way, shape, or form. And, yeah.
Well, and then going back to what you just said, like, okay, it's Media Matters and all these, like, corporations that are funding things to get the government to do what they want to do. Well, that's just proving the point even more that these big-ass corporations are just part of the government, because they are the government, right? They're just bringing in communism from a technocracy point of view instead of from a governmental point of view. They're saying, hey, if you don't say what we want you to say, it's fine. You can say it, but no one's going to see it. And eventually, if you keep saying it, we're going to get your social credit score downgraded so your card doesn't work at certain places. You do like using the Uber, don't you? Well, we know you can't afford a car anymore because gas is too expensive.
Well, it's like we're getting the worst of both post-apocalyptic futures, right? Like the two biggest, the world has gone to hell futures is one, you got your 1984 fucking government that controls all speech and all this shit. And what's the other big one that you see in in all these stories and sci-fi and all this shit all the time, where you've got these authors that are trying to warn people about the future, and that's what it's corporate fucking, you know, monarchy for all intents and purposes, right? Like those are the two like big like dystopian futures you always read about. It's either the government or it's all the corporations that are fucking you over and controlling everything. And at some point they just decided, hey, let's work together and fuck everybody over.
Wayland Yutani.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why you get drag queens letting children on stage with them to dance for some reason. Where is this at? I think this is Texas. Oh, Ottawa. Sorry, Ottawa. I didn't mean to get that one confused.
Well, hold on now. How do you get Ottawa and fucking Texas confused?
Yeah, I was just about to ask the same damn question.
They're equally far from Colorado, depending on the part.
Yeah, they pretty much are. That's it's about the same distance.
There goes your type right there, Honda. Sticks.
Yeah. 4.9 million illegal aliens have crossed our borders since
9 million.
Biden took office. Think about that.
Oh, that's all?
That's the equivalent of the population of Ireland.
But Honda, don't be a bigot. Don't you know they deserve to be here because it was native land first and there shouldn't be any borders and we stole this land. And so they have the right to come here as human beings. Don't you know that? Don't be a bigot.
Bigot.
Fine, until the cost of housing goes up because there's 5 million new people in the country that all need a place to live, and the price of food goes up because there's 5 million new people in the country that need to eat, and the wear on the infrastructure goes up because there's 5 million new people in the country on the roads. Like all of these things cost money. All of these things have social ramifications, and no one really thinks about it. They're just like, oh yeah, they needed a place and there shouldn't be borders and green America and socialism. Everything's free.
Well, and it's not even that they're going to drive up necessarily the prices or anything, right? Like we were talking about this a fucking decade ago, right? Like when you have all these, especially under Obama, which was the big push, right, for socialism and all these programs, and it's like, well, what do you do when you want to like even the playing field across the world, right? You can't bring every other country up, so you have to bring America down. All right. You've got these shithole countries where people are fucking living in favelas and bullshit like that. And they would love to see that shit here. They would love to see it doesn't even matter. The fucking nice neighborhoods are going to get turned into dog shit unless, certain people live in those neighborhoods and then they maintain those neighborhoods. But you're going to see nice suburbs. You're going to see nice areas of towns. Things like that are just going to slowly fucking decay and degrade. And then, yeah, true. Prices won't necessarily fucking go up, but everywhere you have an option to move that you can afford, even in the used to be nice places, are going to be dog shit fucking places to live.
You know what else won't go up? Wages. Because you flood the market with like low skill workers. You make the cost of low skill work really cheap, right? So like it's great if you're like a rich dude and you want someone to do your gardening.
Yeah.
It's terrible if you're like a 16-year-old and you want to get your first job.
It's not like it hasn't happened only every time these policies and this type of government has been introduced. Every fucking time socialism or communism or anything that tries to quote unquote even the playing field for the working man or whatever bullshit they want to fucking spout, every single time it lowers the standards of living for everyone, period. Because they can't bring everyone. They make all these promises. Oh, we're going to give you this. We're going to give you this. We're going to make your life better than it is now. Well, to get everybody on the same plane field, we need to bring everybody up. Everybody should have a helping hand. Everybody should have this. Everybody needs a house. Everybody needs healthcare. Everybody needs all this bullshit, right? Well, it turns out you can't do that. You can't bring everybody up. So you got to take the people who are already up and you got to push them down to get everybody on the same fucking level.
Well, what happens to the price of labor if there's not enough people to do the work?
It goes up.
Yeah, you get paid more because there's more work than people want to do, right? So in order to get people to do the work that needs to get done, you need to give them more wages in order to incentivize them to like be away from their families and off of the couch longer. You know what I mean? Versus what happens to the price of labor when there's an overabundance of labor.
Depends on the labor. If we're talking about from $7.25 to $15 wages, right? Those type of jobs.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, those types of jobs will get flooded. Plain and simple, they will.
But there's other ramifications.
There's a whole other classification that we're not talking about.
I mean, there's other ramifications you gotta look at as well. I mean, if you're gonna flood, like currently right now, the field workers are kind of, a lot of companies that contract field workers, whether that be illegal ones that are coming from here or contracting them from Mexico, they're starting to look at there's more liability with the ones coming over here and working on the land rather than just contracting them from Mexico and then contract them for the season or two or half the year and sending them back. So that's with the incoming flood of more immigrants coming in, they're going to go into the field. That's going to drastically cause a market to be shifted. That is pretty much, you're going to lose a market in a sense.
Okay, so this is according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Average weekly earnings of production and non-supervisory employees. Total private/consumer price index for all urban wage earners and clerical workers. All items in U.S. city average 0 to 100. So in 1972, the average earnings of a production and non-supervisory employee in 1972 was $873. Today, currently, it is $812. Why is that? Oh, it's because we have plenty of people and we can, fool people with a little bit of inflation here and a little bit of tax there. And, it seems like you're doing pretty good. But compared to like 1970, you know what the price of fucking house in 1972 was? Compared to today, it's like 10% as much, Mm-hmm. So they're making the same money, but 10% for the house. You know how much was college in 1972? Maybe $150 a semester, a couple $100 a semester. What is it now? $15,000 a semester? That's weird. How much was a car in 1972? Not brand new fucking car, off the line. Maybe $5,000, $7,000, $12,000, $15,000 if it's nice. What is it now? $80,000, $60,000 if you get a cheaper one, maybe $40,000 if you get a real cheap one. You can spend $100,000 on a truck. $800 a week.
Until they force you to buy electric.
Not $800 a week.
Right. Have you heard anything about something California are going to start to ban gas powered vehicles
by 2035 or some shit like that?
By 2023 they want to change regulations on any new cars that are coming into California.
So you'll be able to still buy old vehicles. Sorry.
Yes, we'll still we will still be able to buy old vehicles,
but nothing new that's of gas.
No, we can still buy stuff of gas. It just there's a new regulations that the car dealers, the manufacturers have to abide by.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So it's like the California compliance bullcrap. It's like, the California Chevy Silverado has to be eco diesel fucking LGBTQF. What I don't know.
Which probably still gonna up the price even more.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
so it's just another way of saying we're gonna charge you more for something that's really really stupid, and then by 2035, you guys peasants will not have fossil fuel cars and will kill the grid and have no power.
I had a question. Where is this 4.9 million at? Does anyone know?
4.9 million what?
Immigrants that came over the border. Like, where the fuck are they?
Spread out through the country.
Some of them came from Tijuana, and
Well, yeah, I know they came from, but like, where are they? What's their population? Where? Because they're not going to just spread out everywhere, right?
Well, no, there's
hold on. Literally, yes, they are. In the under Obama, there was this thing called the Strong Cities Initiative, under which various cities across the country, and there was like 150 or something like that cities in the country that received federal funding under Obama for NRAPs and this and that, and part of the money was supposed to go towards migrants. You're supposed to have areas for migrants to be able to move to as part of getting this federal grant. Well, now that's what they do is they put them on buses to these strong cities that were given money under Obama under the Strong Cities Initiative.
Gotcha.
To take in.
Go ahead.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. No, you're
I was just gonna say I know a shitload of them been recently from Texas being shipped to like Washington,
New York,
DC, and New York.
Washington.
So we're shipping them there. So
I remember reading this at the time, dude, and being like, "What in the fuck is going to be happening? Where they're going to need to get like migrants, like not migrants. What was the word? Refugees. That's the word that they use.
Right.
So what's going to happen where we're going to have refugees in American cities? That's insane. I remember thinking that at the time, and I thought like, okay, maybe like another Katrina or something happens. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Never thought it would be like full open borders, come on across as many as you want. We'll fucking just send you to a city, hop on the bus, here's your medical care, here's a Visa card, here's some clothes. It's a great deal. If I lived in Mexico or if I lived in South America and shit wasn't great,
I'd definitely come over here.
100%. I'd be coming straight across the border because they've made it so beneficial for you to do so that there's no logical reason why you wouldn't.
Even if it wasn't beneficial, I still wouldn't be there.
Yeah, but I mean, if it was like really hard to cross the border and, like if you got here, you were probably going to get caught and sent back and it was going to be a hassle and,
you have to go through cartels and coyotes.
I wouldn't do it versus like, oh yeah, everyone's coming over and you get a Visa card. Like, fuck it, dude. Like pack the kids' shit up. We're going.
I know Abbott lately.
And you can't blame them. I mean, think about it. They live in a shithole, right? Like exactly like you said. I mean, if all of a sudden, America went to shit and Canada was this place that was so much more prosperous than us, and it's like, well, fuck, if you come to Canada, I know I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get, as little as it might be, it's 10 times better than the bullshit I'm dealing with now. I mean, fuck, anybody would do that, and but that's why they do it. That's exactly why they do it. They understand human nature, basic fucking human nature, to try and, get somewhere better, especially for kids or whatever, not the cartel pieces of shit, but you know what I mean? And so that's why they do it, because it's a means to an end. I mean, they've been doing this for fucking ever. Overwhelm the system, fucking lower the standards, and that's how you fucking do it.
Well, again, going back to this thing, dude, look at this. I mean, like 1981 when I was born, right? Going 81. Average person was making $700-ish a week. Today, we're making $800-ish a week doing the same fucking work. Things cost way the fuck more today than they did back then. And the difference is eaten up by what you're allowed to do. Because, like, I remember, like, hearing stories of people in the 60s, they just, like, hop in a van and go to Woodstock and stay there for a week and do all this stuff. And like, I'm thinking like, how the fuck did they have money for this? But it's like, well, I mean, if you made a bunch of money, You only had to work a little bit, and then you could hop in a van and go to Woodstock and chill for as long as you wanted. And then if you came back and you were broke by the time you got back, you could just get another job and make a bunch of money again. Not a big deal, you know, like bunch of money comparative to the amount of money that you needed to live.
Well, there's a reason why the idea of a single income household is so rare today compared to what it was 30, 40, 50 years ago. Because if you want to have the same standard of living, you have to have multiple people in the house that work to bring in enough money to be able to get those things.
Well, and it used to be like if you know, dad and mom were together, you had 3 kids or whatever. Dad worked, you had a car, you had a house, 3 kids had food and clothing and everything they needed, and go to the doctor or whatever you need, you know? And then if dad got sick or dad got killed or something happened to dad where he couldn't work for a little while, mom could go work and make 70% as much as dad, you know, doing whatever it is, different work because she's a woman, you know, and like their own, you know, different times, but they did different jobs. They still do to some extent, but they weren't, you know, necessarily in a lot of fucking fields that made more money. But you could go make 70% as much as dad did and get by. Now it's like mom and dad are both working. Dad gets sick, you're down to 50%. Mom can't do much more, you know?
Well, and there was this, you know, because, and I know we've talked about this before, I just don't remember when. It's probably been a while back. But, you know, there was this, well, there were several studies done, but there was one specifically done back in the 90s where they looked at the economy and they looked at what people got paid. They looked at inflation. They looked at basically the economic, you know, fundamentals of the average American household between 1960, whatever the fuck it was, and 1990, whatever the fuck it was when they did this study. And one of the key factors they found that had kept wages lower than they should have been and kept inflation higher than it should have been was the fact that in the 60s, we had a huge boom in the 60s, 80s, and or in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, a huge boom of women leaving the house to go to work. And that essentially flooded the job market. They speculate up to about almost 40%. There was now almost, it was like 30, I don't know, 37 point, whatever the fuck it was, right? In just a very short period of time, we flooded the market with 37 point something % more workers willing to do jobs for less pay. Also, not because they're women, okay, but because they could hire these people that had less job experience, less life experience, and therefore were willing to do jobs for less money. And we're doing the exact same thing now, bringing people into this fucking country from other countries that have no relative skills to the job market here, but will be willing to come in and do whatever the fuck it is. We are flooding the market with people with unskilled labor. And especially now that we have moved very definitively over the course of the last 40 to 50 years from a manufacturing economy to, for all intents and purposes, a customer service economy is what we used to refer to it as. And because now most jobs that you get are customer service of one form or another. There's very few manufacturing jobs in the country compared to where we were 50 years ago. So you've got a bunch of jobs that don't require the level of skill they used to, that everybody would be competing for anyway. You've already got the hit to the job market because you have far more people entering the job market now, because it used to be that, I mean, it was over 50% of women didn't go get a job. They stayed at home and the men went to work. Therefore, fewer people out there in the job. You had to pay more people more money to get them to go to fuck to work, right? Well, now we're doing it all over again. We're doing the exact same thing. We run this experiment already when we flood the job market with unskilled labor. We saw what happened through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and what that did to especially urban areas. It was one of the factors that decimated urban areas in this country. It wasn't the only thing, but it was a big part of decimating urban areas in this fucking country. And it's happening all over again. And now now it's going to be all the fucking suburb areas, because that's the only place left to turn into shitholes.
Throw on top of that the inevitable march towards mechanization that we have been also undergoing during that same period of time, wherein manufacturing jobs that were like, okay, this is like 100 people in a factory to get this widget done. It's now like 10, and pretty soon it'll be like 2. You know what I mean? So the amount of total jobs to produce the same amount of goods is going down at the same time. So yeah, dude, I don't know. It's all ending in a fucking traffic jam, you know, like
it's not stopping. That shift in our economy that's been consistently going on, where we're getting rid of skilled labor, we're getting rid of manufacturing, we're getting rid of all those types of jobs like you're talking about. It's not stopping. We're continuing to push forward in the direction we've been going. And on top of that, and you know, we're about to start adding, and we already have been for about the last 10 years, but some of the articles and stuff I've read predict that in the next 10 years, we're going to lose over 30% of the job market to automation.
Yeah.
So not only you have more workers, less skilled workers for less skilled jobs, all willing to take less fucking money, but we're going to have less jobs to spread out among those people.
Bam, bam, a new world order. Bam, bam, a new world order.
And who are people going to fucking go to when all this shit goes to hell?
The government.
What are they going to do? They're going to be begging the politicians and the corporations, please fucking help us. Please help us. We need health care. Oh, we need this. We need that. And they'll be like, okay, fine. We'll give you everything you need. And we're here for you. We're the government, and we're here to help. That's what they're going to
end up being, in their eyes, nothing but cattle.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no point to like the cattle. The cattle, we just have to take care of the cows till they die. We don't get to like raise them up and then send them off to slaughter and get a profit.
No.
Which means, okay, how do we reduce the cost of raising these cattle? Let's cut every corner we can. Let's like, you know, do everything we can to like maybe make their lives a little bit shorter so that they don't, you know, hey, end of life care costs a lot. Let's offer them suicide like they're doing in Canada now.
Yep. We're just cogs in the fucking machine. We're just there to keep their machine running. That's it. That's how they look at all of us.
Yeah, we are rapidly sliding towards a dystopian fucking society right now. We are a cunt hair away from it right now. And it's terrifying. Oh boy. Okay, like here's San Antonio. San Antonio. Yep, San Antonio.
Not
San
Ottawa.
Antonio traffic. He's trying to get in. Someone won't let him. What does he do? San Antonio seems like a nice place.
Honestly, San Antonio's not that bad. I mean, relatively speaking.
He didn't shoot him, thankfully, but you know, still.
That's actually pretty brave stuff for someone to do that on the road in Texas, because you never know who's armed and who's not.
That's not common.
Yeah. Because I guarantee you, any of us were doing that, that dude in that white car would have got lit up.
Yep. Oh, I would have shot that motherfucker through the windshield. He wouldn't have even seen the gun.
Yeah.
I would have slipped that motherfucker out as soon as he got out of the car. I would have had it pointing at the fucking window.
Yep.
Because I've done that before. I've had people get out of the fucking car at a stoplight and shit, and I had the gun pointed at the fucking window in case they fucking walked up. I had one car that came by, and they looked like they were gonna fucking get out of their fucking car, and I already had the gun like down in my lap, pointed at the door. And the minute the dude fucking started to open his car, I just raised the gun up. And it was a dude in the back seat of like a fucking Toyota Corolla or something. It was like a group full of like 5 dudes back there. And I was at the fucking mall down here. And I just pointed the fucking my Ruger LCR. I pointed it at them and they closed the door and drove off. Like, fucking better stay in your goddamn car, motherfucker.
686
plus.
Nice.
Love those grips.
Yeah.
Fuck. I kind of wish, honestly, like holding it, it's a little slippery. I kind of wish I had the full grip. Like
I like those bird.
It does fit my hand pretty nice.
They're nice.
That's definitely a nice fucking gun.
Ah!
Ah,
You have now threatened me. I feel unsafe.
As long as we're not driving in traffic. All right. Do you guys know who Darrell Brooks is?
That name sounds really fucking familiar, but no, remind me.
He visited a parade recently in his SUV.
Oh yes, a few months ago. I remember
and ran a
this.
bunch of
Yeah,
people over.
okay, that's how I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was right after the Kyle Rittenhouse
Mhm.
acquittal came out.
Yes.
And people were very upset, calling for violence, racial violence specifically. Yeah. So here's this guy in court. I think this was yesterday.
Let's address him properly. The great rap artist.
Notice how his name is not a household name like Kyle Rittenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know what exactly they're doing in court. They need him there for some sort of thing that they're doing. I don't know what it is, but he's causing a scene.
Here, act like you know me. People like you don't. Y'all think you don't know nothing about where I come from. Mr. Brooks. Push me, dog. Don't push back then.
Mr. Brooks.
Don't push back. Push me in.
Mr. Brooks, we have to continue with this hearing.
I'm talking to you every time. I'm not worried about me. Don't put your hand on me.
Nobody put their hands on you.
Yeah, they better not put their hand on me.
Okay, Mr. Brooks, you need to look at me for a minute, okay?
Why? Listen to all this political stuff y'all got going on?
Mr. Brooks, I'm more concerned about.
Don't touch me, dog. They see it.
All right, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back after lunch. I'm not going to do this with him right now. He needs to be here. He's not cooperating. I'm going to give you the warning, mister. I will give you the warning that if you continue to interrupt when we go back on the record, you will forfeit your right to be in the courtroom today. I can't have these interruptions. I want you here. It's been a long day and a half.
Keep your hands off me.
We'll come back at 12:30.
I would take that mother, like if I was one of those sheriff deputies, I know it's an abuse of power or whatever.
Right.
But man, the things I would do as soon as that door was closed and the camera wasn't there.
Clearly he's going for a insanity plea.
Yeah. They should bring him out next time, all done up like Hannibal Lecter.
I would be okay with an insanity plea if the treatment was shock therapy 24 hours a day for the rest of your life.
Through the balls.
Brain surgery.
Yeah, that's what you get. Like
lobotomy.
We'll admit that was an insane thing to do. Here's your shock therapy.
And a lobotomy.
Yeah.
No, I don't want the lobotomy because I want them to know what's going on. I want them to feel the pain and, realize the mistake. I think everyone should get one of the certificate of achievement awarded to the unvaccinated for surviving the greatest psychological fear campaign in human history. Can you think of a bigger psychological fear campaign in human history?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe the Cold War, maybe.
No. I wouldn't say that because I think the Cold War was pretty legit. There was, there was definitely propaganda aspect to it, but
yeah. Anyway, you guys should print that off and hang it on your wall.
Damien Christ said a while ago that in your Discord under Gay Frog chat is a good ATF video. He said check it out.
Okay. Here is a. This is funny. This is I don't usually agree with PETA, but PETA unveils mosaic featuring tormented monkeys. Beguiles in tribute to Fauci's legacy. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw this shit. Here's Biden speaking.
The whole notion of the burn it all down politics of MAGA Republicans continues to be drumbeat. You stole the election! You stole it! You stole it, guy! You stole it! You're a pedophile too!
anyway, he gets kicked out. He's a big dude. There's another view of him. He's just like this big fucking bald dude. Exactly who you'd imagine saying it in that tone of voice. How the fuck did you just say beagles? I was reading it wrong. I was thinking that it was beguiles, like it's beguiling.
I thought you meant to say it like that.
Because you fucking need glasses.
Yeah, you're right.
Get some goddamn glasses, motherfucker.
No, see, you could have saved yourself by saying I did that on purpose, because that's what I thought you did. Try to say it all fancy, like
beguiles.
Beguiles. Aluminium.
Okay, here's a story about, this is a local story. Former Arapahoe County child caseworker is accused of abusing her power on the job in a new lawsuit that claims that more than 40 people have come forward about her behavior. So she's like child caseworker, right? Like the school, like your kid shows up with a bruise on his arm. They're wondering about it. Sometimes they'll send a fucking caseworker to your house to make sure you're not beating your kid because he has a bruise on his arm, right? Caseworker shows up and they can make your life fucking hell. You know, like it's a little dirty in the house. You know, they'll fucking write you a ticket and then come back a day later and see if you clean it up. And if you didn't, then they'll write you another ticket. And then, you know, pretty soon you own like thousands of dollars and your kids are threatened to be taken away from you. And like one more thing and they're taken away. So you're like walking on eggshells in your own house. And this bitch is lying about people. She's fucking them over for their fucking kids, holding their kids over their head, you know, like the sword of Damocles.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Talk about 9/11.
All right.
That's actually cool as hell there.
Yeah, we watched this the other night on the show.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, while you were at work.
Oh, well, you know.
Oh, I found my purse.
I was showing it to a girl at my work. She was like, "That's not a Coach purse," and then she kept watching it. She's like, "What the fuck?"
Would y'all carry that like that with the little strap and handle?
I would fuck yeah, dude. Be styling.
Were those the sights that it's hanging off of?
Yes, it is.
I mean, as long as it works, I guess. It's cool, man. It's kind of cool. All right. This one's from Mark Malone. New attacks on Mel Gibson for the Rothschild film. Mel Gibson has decided to hit the heart of Zionism and the global agenda of the New World Order by directing a movie about the Rothschild family, a family of bankers that is behind the Zionist movement, the state of Israel.
Israel.
You
gotta say it fancy. You gotta say it fancy.
Israel.
Israel.
Israel. Israel.
Israel.
Israel. Does Mark Malone like Mel Gibson, I wonder?
Probably.
I don't know. You should
favorite actor.
You should next time you do a chat, you should send him an invite. And ask him.
He watches The Passion of Christ every night as he's falling asleep.
Maybe.
His snores are Zionists. Zionists.
Security blanket.
A Jew! A Jew! A Jew!
Takes an inhale. Zion.
Excuse me, I have a cold.
It's real.
Okay, this is another local story. Quote, "I will do whatever it takes to protect the people I work with." End quote. Denver restaurant owner adds mass shooting insurance coverage. How does that protect anybody? That just gives you a fuck ton of money if everyone gets shot.
Yeah, basically.
It's like, oh, sorry about your luck.
Right.
Good thing I got insurance on your ass.
Yeah.
I'll protect you from diabetes. I'll eat the diabetes.
The dude's like betting on it. He's like hoping it happens now, you know?
You'll know when he put up a sign that says gun-free zone in front of the restaurant, too.
All right, and then I think this is the last story. Yeah, this is the last story.
What does that guy E. Honda said on Twitter? What did he say?
I don't know. Some bunch of racist things about Mark Malone.
Oh, okay.
All right. Mother in Aurora is warning other parents after she said her daughter was almost abducted by a group of men while she was out for a walk. Now, if you go on to read the story, which I will spare you, the short story of is her and her daughter were out for a walk. A dude in like a jumpsuit wearing a mask and like a ski mask over his face came up behind her and started pushing her. Right then, a van pulled up and another dude walked up from like the opposite direction. So like the van pulled up, he's pushing her this way, dude walks this way, and she manages to like get away from the first dude and start running before they could get her in the van. Like a team of 3 people with a van is out in South Shore, which is like that's like a expensive, rich area of Aurora, trying to abduct 16-year-old girls in a van in the street. I thought that was fucking insane. Like that's some shit you like. Honestly, you only ever read about it, and when it happens, it's like, oh, that happened in like Europe or something, you know.
Did I hear something in Texas about they're going to start letting 18-year-olds carry? Something like that?
Oh, yeah, they overturned the carry law. They said it was unconstitutional to not allow people who were under the age of 21 to not carry.
Yeah. And the only thing that can happen now is if Texas as a state decides to fight it, it would go to the circuit court, which it hasn't gone to yet, but it's we're in the what are we in, second or third circuit? I can't remember.
I thought we were in the 5th circuit.
Is it 5th? I can't remember. Whatever the fuck we're
think
in.
we're
Anyway,
in the 5th circuit.
the one we're in is very pro-gun.
Yeah.
But honestly, with the way things have been going in Texas and the fact that our governor, wants to get reelected and has been pushing gun rights shit really hard after that whole fucking clusterfuck last year with the power outages and shit. I would be surprised if they fight this ruling and take it up to the circuit court. I don't think they will, because I don't think he wants to publicly keep fighting this. He's just probably going, and I know he's not, I mean, he is the governor, but also, I mean, he's not completely in charge of, like, they could technically take it further without him, but they're not going to. If he says, look, just leave it alone, that's fine. It's been overruled. Everybody wants this anyway. Let's give it to him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Unless he's just stupid and he has them push it. But maybe he is. I don't fucking know.
It's Matt's new motorcycle.
There you go.
My Julio and Ramon. No.
Oh shit!
Because I did not expect.
That was all metal.
Direct.
He lost at least one of the boys right there.
Yeah,
I think you got both of them.
Oh my god, dude!
Fucking idiot.
Fuck.
Well, shit. That's about all the things I had to talk about tonight. You guys want to have any other subjects? Or wait, what was it that Taco wanted me to look at? Or he left, huh?
No, that was
something in Discord.
Cortez. Yeah, it was on Discord in the Gay Frog chat about the ATF.
The FFT?
Yeah.
I think I watched this video. I forgot to retweet it when I was watching it. So the ATF comes to this guy's house because he bought a Sullivan trap.
Wait, what's that?
It's a suppressor without a hole in the end.
Okay.
So it's not legally a suppressor until or unless you drill that hole. But technically, you could make an argument that having the Sullivan trap and a drill is constructive possession, which means, yeah, it's illegal. I wouldn't recommend it, but whatever.
Hey, Nick, what's going on, man? How's it going? Hey, with the ATF, okay? I'm hearing about a solvent trap that you ordered. Okay. You survive it? I'm not going to answer any questions. Okay. Well, we're actually here to recover because they're being used as suppressors. I don't have a warrant. If you let me finish, I can talk to you. Okay? Yep. They're being used as suppressors. Now, we're just going to pick them up. If you don't have it, you can sign that you don't have it anymore. Okay, don't sign anything. So what will happen is if you're caught with it, we'll prosecute you federally for an NFA item. Okay. You're obviously going to be on the radar now. I appreciate all the cooperation. We just came to pick it up and have it destroyed. But since you're being such a polite person, I mean, we'll leave it at that.
Okay. He's like, oh, since you're being so cooperative, since you're being so polite. Like, he wasn't impolite at any point. He's not cooperating, but he's not legally required to cooperate with anything the fucking ATF comes to your door and says.
Fuck no.
Unless they have a warrant, fuck you is the answer. And that would be the impolite thing that you could say, that you literally could say, is go fuck yourself. You know, whatever. Like, get the fuck off my fucking property. Have a nice fucking day. Sorry I was impolite. Anyway.
We know what you're using it for, correct? I mean, you bought a jig with it for your AR-15.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
So
this isn't the first time we've done this.
you want to come back with a warrant? I mean, you can do that.
Okay,
Put your
absolutely.
hand on your pocket for me, please. I'm sorry? Put your hand on your pocket for me. You're on my property. We're law enforcement. We're talking to you in an official capacity, so you're on my property in your pocket. So we're not trying to be here, be jerks here. You are though. You're
We're not.
We're the ATF.
We're idiots.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, and then they're like, he's like, we're not trying to be jerks here, though. He's like, yeah, you are. He's like, well, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you're the ATF. We're idiots? Like, no, man, that's not what he fucking said, you're a little pansy bitch. You just, fuck you, dude.
Like I said, you're the ATF.
Correct.
Your entire job is to take away people's guns.
I don't think you have any idea what our job is.
I know
actually.
everything about your job.
Oh,
All it
please
is
tell
to
me.
the Second Amendment
Okay.
shall not be infringed.
So violent criminals with guns that we take off the street. That's
Waco.
I love that part.
Oh shit!
Listen to their response, though. Listen to their response. Yeah, let me back it up 5 seconds.
Waco. Like at Ruby Ridge.
Oh my gosh.
Bro, dogs.
You need to quit.
And you keep my dogs
You
in
need
the
to
house.
quit reading.
You're watching too many shows.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Oh, you're watching too many shows and reading too many books.
I'm sure we'll find you again someday. Anyway, have a good one. I appreciate the cooperation.
Take it easy.
Yes, sir.
Fucking worthless.
Watch out for the dogs, guys.
Dude, there's something that
Nice.
hold on,
Nice.
be real quiet at the end.
Good one. I appreciate the cooperation.
Take it easy.
Yes, sir.
Watch out for the dogs, guys.
Wait, what did he say?
Watch out for the dogs.
Right.
And then the guy says something like, go ahead and let your dog off the leash and see what happens.
Right. That was the second part.
Like, go ahead, man. I'll shoot your fucking dog right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Fuck those guys.
And then that guy would have every right to fucking light them up.
Fuck the ATF, dude.
Maybe.
That was a nice burn, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Waco and then Ruby Ridge.
Just like what Alex Jones said in court. What was he said to the?
Oh, like you believe that there's a conspiracy to traffic children? He's like, you mean like Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah. Burn. Oh.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
All right. Well, we will be back tomorrow night. We're going to do a little gay frog action. Hopefully I can get, what was the lesbian's name? I forget. The token lesbian back on for tomorrow night. She's fun to have on. She's a pretty cool chick. But yeah, man, it was a fun chat tonight. Minus yelling at Taco for a minute. Got a little frustrating. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to get upset. It happens.
He always gets frustrated at Mexicans. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not personal.
Yeah. Zorro, by the way.
I take that personally, but
Anyway, guys, have a blast. Have a good night. Peace out. We'll see you next time. Gay Frog Chat tomorrow. Peace out, everybody.
Later.